At some point, there won't be enough power, and there won't be enough data centers to handle 5 billion people all using at the same time, right? So
Okay.
that the Earth has a finite amount of energy. So unless someone invents, you know, matter antimatter reactors, like, Star Trek type stuff, or, single point, like black hole energy systems, there aren't an infinite number of data centers and power plants to fuel this stuff. So at some point, yeah, if you really get 2 billion people using it every single day, 12 hours a day, it's not going to run very smoothly.
Welcome to Practical AI, everybody. My name's Jeff. I'm here with Peter Lynn. Practical AI is brought to you by Pocket AI. Pocket AI is a tool you can use to edit the weights of your model. With Pocket AI, you can prune over 60% of the weight in your model while increasing accuracy. Peter, it's all about images the last couple weeks, and
Like this week.
yeah, this week it's OpenAI with ChatGPT. So tell us a little bit about what they dropped in the recent days.
So they dropped a new experimental model that you can give it a photo and tell it to modify it. So what they did was the demo they showed was they uploaded a picture of Sam with two people, and then they said make this into a comic book, like cartoon drawing illustration, and it did. And the big thing was they had Sam held up his fingers, and someone else did OK sign because historically generating images has had problems with fingers, like 5 fingers or 3 fingers or like 8 fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, Fingers seems to be a quirky one. Well, what was impressive about their demo was a number of things. One is they asked the image to put in letters and words and phrases and stuff like that. It seems to get them much better. And then it's sort of, at least that example, it kept everything sort of contextually accurate. Even a little brown area of a plant, it transferred that over to the cartoon.
Hmm.
And the perspective and everything, the wall colors, shirt colors, a lot of it transferred over pretty well. In Is this breakthrough kind of like what we were seeing with Gemini a couple weeks ago? Um,
No, it's more of a gradual improvement. As far as back as 2021, you could download the Stable Diffusion client on your Mac. You could generate an image by giving a prompt, like you'd say a four cats playing poker. Then we generate like 3 samples or 4 samples. You could then take that, pick one of them. You could mark up and say regenerate this area, right? So that's been there. So this is basically that. You give it a photo. You say, all right, change the background to an ocean scene instead of an office. So it's detecting the person in the image. It's then masking out the background, and it's generating a new background, and then compositing those two pieces together. In Photoshop, actually, I think back in 2022, they released a version where if you use the Creative Cloud, you could upload a photo. You could take a pencil and like just scribble over an object and say replace this with something else, and it would do it. So now this is just kind of improving on that. So you could just tell it with a prompt.
Got it. And so, do you think there's new tech involved here, or is this the same tech, just with a lot of training and refinement?
Well, it's still diffusion models. It's just better training, but they also hooked up the language model better. They also hooked up other things better. So it's a gradual improvement. It's nice.
Yeah, this whole multimodal thing is starting to show practicality. Now, one of the things I noticed on the demo is that it was taking quite a long time to generate the images.
right?
Is that what we're in for, or is that going to speed up over time?
It can speed up. You just need more hardware, which makes NVIDIA happy, which makes the power providers happy,
Yeah.
makes data center people happy. Um, will it infinitely speed up with more hardware? No, because diffusion models just they take time. So if someone improves diffusion models so they're more efficient or they're smaller, then they'll be faster on the same hardware. Um, like I think recently Anthropic's been their service has been going up and down because it's gotten more popular. So yes, more hardware makes it faster, but there's a limit. Right now, like it might be slow for you to use it because there might be 10 people queued up to use it. So if they have more hardware, then you don't have to queue people up. You just say, "Oh, there's a free cluster. Send Peter's prompt in. There's a free cluster. Send Jeff's prompt in. There's a free cluster. Send Bob's prompt in." Right now, the resources are limited, so it queues it up. So first come, first serve. It's a stack, and you just go through the queue.
And is there, do you think there'll be a pay for option eventually for including speed or updating the turnaround time?
Yeah, yeah. I imagine they'll probably, you know, have a subscription fee so that if you want priority, when you log in, it knows, oh, you're a paid customer. We're gonna go to the paid cluster
Hmm.
or the paid environment, and then when you submit your prompt, that environment has more clusters running because you're paying, and so then you'll queue a lot shorter.
So, um, what I'm seeing is much like when, search engines sort of, kind of hit, they kind of had a narrow sort of purpose, but then it became something, much beyond that, right? And it seems like this could quickly happen with these sort of multimodal. I mean, just, people going out there and making memes, and
Yeah,
it's like it serves no purpose other than it's fun
yeah,
but it's consuming a lot of, you know, CPU or GPU power, a lot of energy. And are we, and not that that's bad, where it's all just sort of like for entertainment or for people's pastimes, but are we, are we going to run into basically an explosion in this sort of useless useless use? I mean, I use AI now primarily for search,
right,
and I like it, just because I can refine the context window better than I can in, a Google window or something like that,
right.
right? But I mean, should we all be doing search with AI? Should we all be making memes with AI? And like, where's this going to go? This is just, it seems like never ending, I guess, is ultimately my point.
Yeah, so that's at some point there won't be enough power and there won't be enough data centers to handle 5 billion people all using at the same time, right? So
Okay.
that's that the Earth has a finite amount of energy. So unless someone invents, you know, matter antimatter reactors, like Star Trek type stuff, or single point like black hole energy systems, there aren't an infinite number of data centers and power plants to fuel that stuff. So at some point, yeah, if you really get 2 billion people using it every single day, 12 hours a day, it's not going to run very smoothly. It
Yeah.
just isn't.
Well, which says that something's got to break, right? So these things probably got to get smaller and use
I have to.
less energy, and yeah, they have to. Okay, one other just little tidbit from some of the announcements from Sam Altman this week, and I just wanted to get your opinion on. He's, coming across as this. He's not going to censor this thing, right?
Right.
This is this new sort of free speech humanitarian version of Sam Altman, and he's super duper into freedom of expression and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I smell a rat, but what do you think?
Well, I think realistically, no one has a foolproof method of preventing bad images being generated because when Stable Fusion came out, when all the other ones came out, right? Like people were able to generate bad images. So, and no one's found a solution. If you're OpenAI, if you're Microsoft, or if you're AWS, do you really want to spend that much time on something that can be jailbroken by someone in a day or two? Probably not, right? Because it's a never-ending battle. So from their perspective, yeah, it's easier to get a product out now and just promise that's coming in the future when you have no real way of knowing that's even possible. Um, so yeah, is it self-serving? Absolutely. Um, is it practical? Yes. Is it humanitarian? Not really.
Well, it's definitely a pivot, right, from this sort of hyperaligned models where, of course, Gemini's the biggest culprit of that. But to kind of openly state it, it would make sense what you're saying that it's probably because in order to create a good model, they have to kind of open up the floodgates and they know that they have no mechanism to really align it or censor it the way that they would need to.
Right. I mean, they probably have some censoring that kind of sort of works, but it's probably too easy to hack and jailbreak. And so, like, you could probably include it, but then not tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then over time, as you get more data, you can slowly over the next decade align it. But is that really a good use of your time? I mean, I'm of the opinion that it's a tool, and you just say this is a tool. Be an adult when you use it. If you do dumb things with it, and someone gets pissed at you, that's your own fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like be
Yep.
responsible.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
Be responsible or suffer the consequences.
Yeah. It's
All
like,
right.
it's like I have a fork. I can use it to eat my dinner, or I can stab myself.
Yeah.
Pick one.
No, this is good. It's really exciting time. Again, we talk about this all the time, but it's just like every day or every week, there's just another sort of like big sort of announcement, and it's hard not to see them as breakthroughs. They feel like breakthroughs, but
Yeah.
it's all happening so fast, and it's just the rate. And you can see how if you weren't in the game or if you're behind, it'd be really hard to get in, right? Really hard to start another Anthropic, and you wonder about Apple, right?
Right.
So, Peter, great, good discussion. We'll talk more about the new image models as they come out. If you have any ideas for topics, let us know. You can always follow us on Spotify too. We are there. Until next time, when we will have another topic. Take care, everybody.